Welcome back to Raid Guides in a Trench Coat featuring Arcadian M5 Savage. Dancing Green. The
groovy baby.
It's a brand new raid tier with the same old shitty jokes. At least that's what I would have said in March if I hadn't spent the last 9 months allowing this script to come to term before forcing it into existence like a Republican lawmaker trying to repopulate Epstein Island. I'd say we're getting back into the full swing of video making now that I've got almost a year's worth of new joke leads to chase, but the truth of the matter is that I procrastinate harder than a GTA 6 dev and really needed to get videos on this tier out before the shiny new heavyweight tier commandeers everyone's high-functioning attention deficit. Dancing Green kicks us off with a fight requiring so much movement that they practically had to overhaul Black Mage so that they wouldn't end up lying on the ground and giving Dragoon floor tanks a run for their money. The marker dance sees you making light parties, and sometimes forces you to don your Arcady spread spots, which is great because it really lets you know who bothered to read the party description past, oh hey look, a party where Machinist isn't globally blacklisted. Something raid-wide damage, and then the first mechanic is a 2-4-3, 3-4-2, Wendy's 4-4-4 snap and twist combo alongside either flip to A side or flip to B side, which is a mechanic you're going to see a lot during this fight. He'll store one of those sides early, and if he stored A side, you'll be rolling your GCDs with roll stacks, or you'll have to stand B side, your light party. Tanks north, healers east-west, DPS south, or light party 1 north and light party 2 south. Stack on the obvious safe side being obvious, and then after the $5 biggie bags worth of finger snaps, the boss is going to turn around and strike the other side of the arena before making good on his A-B side threat. The best advice I can give here is that the A and B side mechanic is an absolute nothing burger for the main tank and the light party 2 DPSs, who will always stand north and always stand south respectively. As a Fizz range 1 myself, you can also make this mechanic a whole lot easier by focus targeting the off tank and avoiding them like baby boomers dodge the draft, blaming them for being in the wrong spot when you also inevitably fail to remember the mechanic. You'll get both patterns, one after another, and then you'll immediately be thrown into the crypt of the Necrodancer simulator. There are more steps to this mechanic than esoteric geometries in an IKEA furniture manual, so I'm going to try and break them down. Check the checkerboard patterns where black squares are safe while red squares give you damage downs and your healers an aneurysm. Alternate back and forth between the odd and even squares, and after the second burst, the boss will start casting either blah 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 in or blah 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 out. None of the other words matter except for that little bit at the end which tells you where the first save spot will be. Strike 3 follows the cast name, strike 4 will be the opposite, and then look at the cast bar. The boss will be telegraphing the next A side B side for 30 seconds from now, and if you're one of the 5 party members who has to pay attention to that sort of thing, it's going to be very embarrassing if you fuck it up. Take mental note of that and then get ready for your Dancing with the Stars solo audition. Either hit your mark when your debuff hits 0, or you'll be seeing stars. It splits so the DPS and supports will all go at once, so range 1s take outer west, range 2s take outer east, melee 1s take inner north, and melee 2s take inner south. There's some way to tell where your save spot will be based on where the bad red squares start, or you can just ride the groove and let your feet take you where you belong. Alright, so red squares, in out, and spotlights all go off in what feels like rapid succession, then you have a little bit of time to get yourself over to your drop the needle spots, and if you can successfully live through that, then you're practically through the second hardest mechanic of the fight. The hardest mechanic, you might now be wondering, is, in fact, next. Arcadian Night Fever is the Tuesday night reclear sickness sensation sweeping exclusively the Aether and Light Data Center nations. Data center travel was a mistake, but at least as the game's population dwindles from California population numbers to ones closer to that of Rhode Island, the raiders can still find people masochistic enough to do their reclears. Lineup supports North and DPS South to do that basic vanilla in and out thrusting while you wait for more exciting intercourse DLC kinks to be handed out to you. Whenever you get hit by a Protean wedge, jump on top of a nearby ally of the same type as you so that you don't get hit by the Echo, which hasn't been relevant since What's-Her-Face started doing mind magic with Cryo and Stormblood or whatever. After the Echo goes out, you can return to your own spot or just chill if you trust in your memory that the person you jumped has already been hit by their cleave. Then, the truly hardest mechanic in the fight, counting. Once the 16th Protean goes out, leave a comment if you're having a hard time figuring out where I got that number, you'll have either an alpha or beta time-activated Nisi. Unlike most Nisis, these don't trigger when standing next to someone with the opposite buff, and instead they force you to line up with whomever has the exact same timer as you. But with so many changing numbers and shifting buffs, it's entirely understandable that you wouldn't have time to figure out who the red string of destiny has tethered you to, especially when you're getting jump scared by half-room frog farts. So instead, you have designated Craigslist misconnection spots based on whatever your timer is after that 16th Protean goes out. You'll either be at 10, 15, 20, or 25 seconds, and should line up in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th row respectively. continue to dodge to wherever the frog's over-accentuated hip is protruding as the columns of green light affirm your relationships, or point out very obviously in red where two people were when curfew was called. All these mechanics fill your groove bar, and if you can successfully not get hit by anything you're not supposed to, you'll get a big dick damage buff and a neon sign congratulating you on your nice cock. Sorry, my special effects budget got scrapped somewhere in the new Queen's Fiend budget reforms. Anyways, ride that high, and more importantly ride that wave, as an onslaught of Tetris blocks starts grooving and shimmying their way down the dance floor. Hop to your intercardinal corners in range tank and healer melee pairs while watching the cast bar for either eighth notes or quarter notes. Eighth is spread, quarter is stack, and you'll get both before a blah 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 in or blah 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 out mechanic bears witness to the fleeting tide alongside another roll party stack mechanic that you didn't look at the cast bar for. You've already seen Frog Ross and his happy little broccoli tree hair up on stage, but now him and his buddies will moonwalk around you like Oompa Loompas, singing a song about which of you is about to have an unceremonious exit from your ability to even get a dancing green parse. Look at where they turn away from one another to find the safety lane and then spread to the four corners of your square for eighth notes or stack up for quarter notes. This should be done Light Party 1 north or west and Light Party 2 south or east. Then it's time to pop back to your clock spots for another bout of spotlight cleanses. Stick to your color quadrant where if you have the shorter timer then you have to find the spotlight entering into your expanded domain. Further, if you're not the one actively standing in the boss's cargo pants pockets full of sunshine, then you're baiting the Bob Ross frogs, splooging their paint and spoiling the next fight of the tier. Don't hit the spotlight, people, and then hopefully they won't hit you when your rolls are reversed. Snap, crackle, twist, and a partier roll stack later leads us to the Chronic Fever once again taking hold of his Greninja tongue scarf looking ass, launching you into Arcady Night Fever 2. Dodge your cleaves, and instead of getting discount Nieces, you graduate from 2-dimensional cleaves to 3-dimensional cleaves, as you not only have to move Stray Kids left and right, but also Cruise Chaser forward and back. As somehow the stars align so the tank stops sucking the boss's front positional tit, and the summoner doesn't run out of lube for their side casts, and the dancer stops hotbar staring long enough for everybody to avoid all of the cleaves, you'll get a bar of LB, which you'll need to have an empty LB bar to accept, so have your monk rip the LB3 because, let's be real, a healer LB is not going to make up for the damage deficit brought on by a team that needs a healer LB this late into the fight. Individuals who don't get hit look at the nice cock pop-up, reminding you once again to update your ad blocker, and then it's Bob Ross half-room cleaves, but telegraphed from the battlefield this time as only one quadrant will be safe, then one quadrant will be safe, and then the half arena will be safe. Much Doritoable, such easy to Mountain Dew. Next up we get 6 backup dancers, with 2 being Michael Jacksons and the other 4 being Mom I Threw Ups. Supports bait first on their color quadrant, so either be between the lines if the Moonwalker's paths diverge, or be on the Gurabanian fringes if they form a Garlean border wall down the middle. If you are not the group baiting, then you either stack tighter to the center than 18-year-olds at a mosh pit, or pair up on either side of the wall like your Pyramus and Thisbe. After the supports bait, swaps of the DPS get a turn baitin', and then after that find your pizza slice as 3 half-room cleaves all intersect at once, leading into the final mechanic. Funky Floors 2 is funkin' easy as funk, Funkin' nailed it. We're back to playing on the chessboard where melees will do rook moves back and forth between 2 tiles while the range players do some 5-year-old's understanding of how the horsey piece moves. First resolve a quarter 8-beat stack or spread, and then if the ranges got too far away they get to limp their way back to the center for a blah blah in blah blah out sequence, finally being bookended with the unused quarter or 8th note beating. Raid wide goose, race the 8 heralds of the Frogpocalypse to his dyslexic RNG and rage, and congrats! You've completed M5S. This rabbit bunny frog had more hops than a beer brewery, and Party Finder had me drinking more kegs than a spider has legs to stand on. Go watch a real guide.